morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bluestone Villa. My name's Louisa. I share videos on renovations, interiors, and life in our Victorian townhouse. Today is another renovation diary where we essentially take apart a space in our house and put it back together again over multiple videos because nothing can happen in one video. Yeah, we are back on the understair cupboard gravy train. Hi guys, I wanted to intercept the video here to come to you from present day. It is January 2022. Happy New Year if you did not see my New Year video earlier this week. I will link it above and below if you are interested in watching it, but I wanted to just come on and share a little bit more on my visual goal for our understairs cupboard renovation, because I've realized that the videos that I have shared today, I've talked a lot about what the end goal is. I've kind of indicated when we're kind of in the cupboard, like, okay, this is going to go here and we're thinking of doing this and what have you, but I've never actually shared visually what my vision is for this space. And I thought that was a bit remiss of me, because I think it is so much easier to appreciate like what we're striving for by being able to see what my ideas are. So I'm gonna actually share that with you in just a second. It's kind of half mood board meets kind of how I'm expecting it to be configured in the end. In terms of where we are with our understairs cupboard renovation in general, in this video today, you're gonna see a lot of it start to really come together, and as of kind of today, it is looking great. We've actually got a lot of stuff back in the cupboard in a much neater way, but not perfect yet, just because obviously we did have the end goal of Christmas to try and get it up to, well, I lie, we had the end goal of Christmas to actually finish it completely. We didn't quite manage that, but we've got it to a place that it is very almost nearly done, and we wanted to do that because we were having people over Christmas. We had like a family party on the 23rd, so we wanted to make sure that it was in a good spot by then, just because we had so much stuff all over this ground floor from that cupboard. Some of it needed to go back and some of it just needed to be chucked or found other homes for and stuff. So yeah, so we did get it in a good spot and we were able to move stuff back in. I will probably move stuff out and re-put it back in when we fully finish, because we do have some like finishing touches that we need to add to it, and I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do those finishing touches over the next few weeks. So I'm anticipating that that will probably be our last video on this particular project, apart from maybe like a tour after that as well. And I'm hoping that we might be able to share that next kind of renovation diary maybe in a few weeks time, which brings me on nicely to say I'm really sorry that there has been an absolutely massive chunk of time between the last renovation diary and this renovation diary. If you have been following along, I apologise. You possibly have forgotten I'm even working on this project. I know some of you haven't, because I have had a couple of comments and a couple of messages being like, oh, like, what's happening with that? Like, you are going to show us the end result, right? Do not fear, we did not finish the project and just ghost you. Honestly, we just hadn't done anything, so I couldn't share anything. Basically, I think we did a tiny bit of something after the last video I shared, which was in November. And then we had a number of weeks where we just literally didn't do anything until about the week before Christmas, because then we were like the pressure was on to get it in a good spot. Was then when probably a lot of what is coming up next was filmed. So I just couldn't share anything because I didn't have anything to share. As with all of our projects, we started this at the beginning of November with the view that we would maybe just smash it out that month. But as with everything, nothing ever happens in the amount of time that we allocate it. And it has dragged on, and we have got a few other little bits and pieces to do. It actually hasn't taken us too long, like collectively, but just there's been lots of stop starts from about like late November time. So yes, if you are new here, then you literally have no idea what I'm rattling on about and are probably thinking, an understairs cupboard or a cupboard sounds like a pretty boring functional renovation, but fear not, because as I'm about to share with you now, I even want my cupboards to look beautiful, if I'm honest, which is a little my favorite word, bougie, like it's a cupboard, but I figure it's a space that guests will likely see at some point, and also, as I said, just in general, I'm very passionate about making every little nook and cranny in our house as lovely as possible, and this is one of them. I just think everything should be functional and fabulous. I think maybe that should be like my new catchphrase, functional and fabulous. But yeah, so I'm gonna stop rattling on and actually share with you what I'm hoping the end result will be. And you'll, as I said, as you get to kind of the end of this video, you'll start to see this coming together as well. But then the final finishing touches are TBC for another video. Right, so here it is. So I've just created this on Canva, and this is, as I said, part mood board, part kind of how it's going to be configured. So obviously you will have seen the shiplap's already gone up in the cupboard, but this is then kind of an example of the chest meets bench that James has made us. So it's got kind of dual use, because it is going to be a seat, so it's going to have this kind of cushion on the top here. Please note, I haven't actually picked the fabric for the cushion yet, so this isn't it. This is just to like represent the cushion, and it's actually not a great image or cut, but there you go. Anyway, so yeah, so you can like sit on there and like change your shoes and what have you, but then this lid here also lifts up, and that is because inside the chest is going to be where I store like my handbags, because as a woman I have multiple bags, and it's just a case of that you might be switching between them, and sometimes it's just easier than leaving them in random places. And like James has a work bag and stuff like that, so they'll all, as soon as we get home and come through the front door, they'll just all go in this chest here, and then as I said, you can sit on top to change your shoes or whatever you're going to do. And then this light here is actually one of those kind of like light bulbs on a cord lights, and the reason we've opted for this, and kind of was the reason why I picked this from the outset, is because we do have electricity in the cupboard in the form of plug sockets, but we do not have like a light in there, and we just wanted to kind of save time and money, if I'm honest, by getting an electrician in to get that fitted. Maybe that's something we will change our mind on further down the line, but I kind of think for now this will probably work. I need a bigger light bulb at the moment because it's not quite bright enough, and we haven't got it up yet, but we just like tested it out in there. But yeah, so we are going to have that, so that's going to kind of be, there's going to be like a hook on the ceiling, and that's going to hang from it, and then it has like a little light switch, and then you can see these hooks here, so there's another one underneath the light there as well. Those will sit above the chest, like I've tried to kind of demonstrate here as well, and as you can see, these are all just say A. But actually this is like one of the biggest design features for me in this cupboard, and something that I have imagined doing since the outset, which is this is actually going to spell out our road name, and I really can't wait to share the finished result with you, but also I need to find a way that I can kind of demonstrate it without putting my home address on the internet, so watch this space on that one. And then I really love kind of like reclaimed industrial style shelves, so that's what I wanted. So that's kind of, once you walk into the cupboard and you turn right, that will be on the wall to the right. And I've used some kind of poetic license here, because actually we are not going to have baskets on the shelves itself, I don't think. I had actually anticipated that these will just be for all of our shoes. And then the baskets, the reason I've put them here is because I couldn't represent it in any other way. These baskets will actually sit underneath the bottom shelf, and they will house things like hats and gloves, and one or two might house things like cleaning products that we can't fit in our kitchen and stuff like that. So just really useful little storage, but again, that looks beautiful. So I think that kind of sums up the overall vision. I'd love to know what you guys think. Is this what you were anticipating from how I described it? But anyway, I have been talking for absolutely yonks, and you probably want to see what more we've done on the cupboard. So I'm gonna send you back to November 2021. Bye. We have made some updates since our last video, which I'll spin you around and show you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm also a little bit hungover today, if I'm honest. Went to our neighbours last night for some cheese and wine, and I definitely had too much of the wine. And we've got friends coming over tonight for fireworks. We're those awful people that are doing fireworks 10 years after the event, but we did buy quiet ones, so I'm hoping we're not going to upset anybody too much. Yeah, we've got some friends coming over for that. I still need to figure out what we're going to cook tonight for that. Yeah, anyway, I'll spin you around and show you what we've done since we last left you. When I say we, I obviously mean royal we, because James is just way more productive than I am, because I'm usually editing these videos when he's doing stuff like this. So he has zinzered this, so he's painted this with zinzer, so it basically just means that it's that good kind of like base, kind of almost like a bit like a primer coat on this, and then we can paint it. I'm not sure I'm going to do it white like the rest of the hallway. I think it will look a bit like bleak, so I'm thinking of using a slightly warmer colour of some kind, which we need to find. We need to measure up for the grill still, but yeah, we do need to get that ordered. And then today, at the moment, James is just trying to he's doing something with this bit to fix that piece of paneling that he's cut out. And then in here, we, again, I don't know what I'm saying, he has fixed the hinges to this box chest bench thing. I don't think he'd done that when I left you last, and he's also zinzered the lid as well, because that was just the brown MDF. This is obviously the same tongue and groove that's pre-primed anyway. So he is outside doing stuff with this bit. In terms of what we're hoping to do today, I need to finish off the caulking that I started last weekend. I'd hoped to do some in the week, but it's been a very busy week for me, guys, with work. And I had to edit another video desperately as well. So yeah, I just ran out of time. And then James, I think, is also hoping that he's going to at least be able to measure up and fix the hinges on for the shelves, so that we know where they're going to go, and then we can take them off when I'm painting, but just so that it's kind of that pre-stuff is already done. Yeah, and then we were discussing also what we might do here, because obviously this is bordered with the tongue and groove, this is with the I can't think what it's called. I'm so tired and hungover. And then this here is still like the paper, and obviously like we've got these edges now, so I think James is talking about maybe trying to mix up some plaster and doing something with that there, because we need to resolve it. The weirdest thing about going to our neighbours last night was kind of seeing our house in a totally different way, and they are different, like there are elements that are different. So we were like saying like we felt like their living room was slightly bigger than ours, and then when I was in their dining room I was like, their dining room feels smaller than ours. I think it might just be the configuration slightly of like we think their house might be slightly wider rather than longer. But yeah, funny. But the weirdest thing was they basically have their downstairs loo underneath their stairs, and the way they do it is actually that they walk through here. They've got a door through here, and I think the sink is there, and then the loo is there, and here, well, you can see my hand, there is a wall. So this must be then like their coat cupboard. When we got back last night, our minds were blown, because we wouldn't be able to do that, because their stairs must be so much taller than ours, because for a fact I wouldn't be able to walk in to the loo. I don't think I ducked down to get into the, I don't think they would have done that either. So yeah, mind blown. It's really funny to see these like different Victorian houses, and also like things like their crawl space underneath their house I think is a lot more than ours. Like, you know, we've got these suspended floors. Their crawl space is a lot more because they're like lower down the road, and it's like kind of on a hill. So all the houses are like the same height kind of thing as you go along, but obviously it's going up in an incline. So like our kitchen has got a solid floor underneath because obviously we're like on like higher up the road, and they've got a crawl space underneath theirs. It's quite big, I think. Just weird, just really weird how it's all just same, but different.
So that's going to be your second one.
Let's have a look.
He says. So that's your third there.
Okay.
And then that'll be your second one.
Yeah, I think that.
And then put it into sort of, that'll be your bottom one.
Yeah, that is more what I was thinking.
Cool.
Yeah, that's better, babe. Because I do still want that under space, but I just felt that it was a bit too tall underneath there. Because you kind of want, if you're going to get baskets, you kind of want them to fit almost like a little bit snug underneath there in a way. Not really snug, but you know what I mean.
Snuggly.
Snuggly. You're an idiot. Done these two. These are untouched. Hi guys, it is Saturday the 18th of December and we've actually moved on a fair bit in here. I haven't shared so much of the actual in progress stuff, which I feel like really guilty about because obviously I would rather do that because it's probably more interesting than me just talking to camera. But it's just such a small space when you're in here trying to do stuff that it's really hard to get kind of a good image of anything. But essentially, as you'll be able to see, I have now completed all of the painting of kind of walls and ceiling in here. So I've done about 3 coats of Dulux eggshell in brilliant white. That's what we've used. The Dulux brilliant white we've used kind of already like out here and in our bedroom and stuff. So we use it quite a lot. We use the trade paint as well because we just think it's got way better coverage and you don't have to do as many layers we often find. Yeah, so I've done kind of walls and ceilings, as you can see. They probably don't look, let me come back. They probably don't look super perfect in some spots. Like you can see that the coverage there is slightly different, but it's because I've got this really super bright light on, so it really glares up like absolute imperfections. And just to show a comparison, if I turn it off, I mean, we are going to have a light in here, but it won't be obviously that bright. But if I turn it off, it's yeah, it's like really dark in here, so you're never ever gonna, it's not gonna be glaringly obvious. I've got it to like a really good space, I feel like. Let's turn that light back on. But yeah, so I've done like walls and ceilings and stuff. We've still got a few things that will probably come up as like snagging, so I think there are a few places paint wise on walls and ceilings that I might need to do another little bit of a touch up. Obviously you can see some funny bits here, but that is just purely because our shelves are going to go there and that's where like the brackets are, so I don't need to worry about the coverage there. Just as another little reminder, we're actually going to put something across there, so that's why we kind of finish, as you can see, around there. I've obviously got to do that floor once I've done the rest of this bit here. This bit here we still need to resolve. James was talking about putting some plaster on this and moulding that in, which if he does, we'll probably do post-Christmas, to be honest, just because so much going on and we kind of want this done in time for, we're hosting a bit of a shindig here with our family on the 23rd. So that'll probably be a post-Christmas job and just like, as I said, like a little bit of snagging. And he's now actually talking about possibly boxing it out in some way instead, just because it's just really fiddly where it curves and stuff. So not fully decided on that, but yeah, anyway, I have fulfilled my responsibility, which was like filling and painting kind of in this cupboard. And then yesterday I had a half day because I have now broken up for Christmas, yay, from work, and I've got the first coat of our floor paint on. We're using again our kind of Rust-Oleum chalk white matte finish floor paint. It's what I've used on all of our like stairs and landings and stuff as well. To put the first coat on last night, I cut in first and then kind of went around. But I'm actually now going to go in with some Zinza, which is really good for like stain blocking. Some people might put Zinza on first as like a bit of a primer, I guess. I wasn't worried about this because you don't actually need to use a primer with this floor paint, and we've not felt the need to based on our experience with it. But when we first kind of pulled the carpet up and stuff in this cupboard, I noticed there was some like water stains or something on some of the floorboards. Now I gave all of these like a light sand with our electric hand sander, so I didn't really notice them as much anymore. But after I did the first coat yesterday, they actually came through basically like instantly whilst the paint was even still wet. So you can see there's some there. This is probably where it's its worst. But then this morning when I've come down, I've also noticed that it's there's a little bit kind of over here as well. But it's definitely worse on this side of the cupboard. So I'm going to go in with Zinza, cover those bits and pieces over. That'll take about 15-20 minutes to dry, and then I'll come back in with the floor paint. I think probably I will need to do 3 coats in here of floor paint, but let's pray for 2. I've not been super careful with the line here, so it's not straight. Obviously, we would usually do that, but we don't want to take it right up to where it meets our nicely done floor because we just think it's too much of a risk in terms of not getting like quite the perfect finish. So instead we're going to get like a brass bar or something to basically put on the floor, so that will cover kind of the roughness of my skew width line there. I'm not worried about a straight line there either, as I said, because this is going to be closed at all time. We are going to have it hinged in some way, just so if we have something that we might be storing here that's maybe a bit larger that we might want to move, or just again some more access to this without having to use all of this as well. I don't know, like we're just you know, we're just trying to future-proof stuff. So it will be hinged so that you can actually open it. You can also open that down there. That's like a little door as well. So yeah, we just thought it would be good if you could open this up and kind of move things out from here as well. It'd be good, but majority of the time this will be closed and unused. So our plan is not to use this heavily. It really will be for only like special circumstances. He's put no hooks in now on the stairs cupboard, and he's told me he's got one shot. One shot, and if he screws it up, then he's screwed up the whole thing. I feel like no, that's what they say that, but